Austrian Airlines AG, sometimes shortened to Austrian, is the flag carrier of Austria and a subsidiary of the Lufthansa Group. The airline is headquartered on the grounds of Vienna International Airport in Schwechat, where it also maintains its hub. As of July 2016, the airline flew to 6 domestic and more than 120 international year-round and seasonal destinations in 55 countries, and is a member of the Star Alliance. The airline was formed in 1957 by the merger of Air Austria and Austrian Airways, but traces its history back to 1923 at the founding of Austrian Airways. Throughout much of the company's existence, it was a state-owned entity. On the 31st of March 1958, the airline performed its scheduled service, flying a leased Vickers Viscount from Vienna to Zurich and London. It subsequently purchased its own Viscount fleet. On the 18th of February 1963, Austrian ordered its first jet-powered airliner, the Sud Aviation Caravelle. It subsequently introduced various models and derivatives of the Douglas DC-9 jetliner. By the end of 1971, Austrian was an all-jet operator. During the 1980s, it introduced the DC-980, otherwise known as the McDonnell Douglas MD-80, to its fleet. Various airliners produced by Airbus, Boeing, Fokker and other manufacturers were introduced across the 1980s and 1990s. Throughout the 1990s, the airline sought out new strategic alliances, as well to expand its presence in the long-haul market, launching new services to China and South Africa. In 2000, Austrian became a member of Star Alliance. A few years prior, it had also joined the Qualifier Group. During the 2000s, the airline expanded through the acquisitions of Rheintollflug and Lauda Air and adopted the shortened Austrian name in 2003. Throughout the 2000s, Austrian sustained several years of losses. During 2008, the airline's then owner, the Austrian government, was advised to privatize Austrian via its sale to a foreign company. During 2009, the Lufthansa Group purchased Austrian after receiving approval from the European Commission, following an investigation into the tendering process. Following its privatization, both fleet expansion and cost-saving initiatives were enacted as the business was restructured. Visible changes included route alterations, a new corporate design, and a revised aircraft livery. Following labor disputes over several of the cost-cutting measures, all Austrian Airlines flights were transferred on 1 July 2012 to its subsidiary, Tyrolean Airways, which operated under the Austrian name. On 1 April 2015, after a new labor agreement had been reached, all flights transferred back to Austrian, and Tyrolean Airways was merged into its parent. During the late 2010s, restructuring of both its fleet and route network continued. On 17 March 2020, the airline temporarily suspended operations as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak. On 3 May 1923, Walter Badenau received approval by the Austrian government for establishing an airline. He participated in the newly formed Austrian Airlines. The company's initial fleet consisted of Junkers F-13s. On 14 May 1923, the first flight performed by the fledgling airline was conducted between Vienna and Munich. Piloted by Hans Bohr, the landing took place in Vienna-Jeddelsee. There occurred a conversion to float and the connecting flight to Budapest. The company was operated by Junkers Trans-European Union. Its destinations included Munich, Budapest, Nuremberg, Graz, Klagenfurt, and St. Wolfgang. Some targets in Austria were served with seaplanes. The union was dissolved in September 1926. From 1927, the company procured new aircraft with support from the government. During the same year, it formed an operating partnership agreement with Deutsche Lufthansa. Line connections were planned and operated jointly by the two companies, while a route network to Berlin, Budapest, and Milan-Vienna was created. In 1932, Lufthansa Junkers held a 49% interest in the company. After recovering from the global economic fallout from the Great Depression, the firm's fleet was expanded via the addition of several Junkers Ju 52/3 of a meter. The rapid growth of the firm throughout the 1930s led to it becoming the fourth largest airline in Europe at one point. In 1938, the company began planning routes to Rome, Paris, and London, using a fleet of Junkers Ju-90 aircraft. Following the annexation of Austria by Nazi Germany in March 1938, these plans were promptly abandoned. From the 1st of January 1939, the airline was fully under the control of Lufthansa. During June 1939, the company was deleted from the commercial register. After the Second World War, Austria was once again separated from Germany, while it regained its independence as a result of the Austrian State Treaty of 1955. The newly reconstituted nation was initially lacking a national airline. During 1955, two separate companies, Air Austria and Austrian Airways, were quickly established to start filling this vacant niche. On the 4th of April 1957, Austrian Airlines W.